Oh yeah, well, I mean, I think that's just a philosophy, and again, we're going to always, until we can't, if we can't get the best high school kids anymore, then we'll have to adjust. But we can recruit with anybody. This is a special place, and you know, um, and again, it's not about a league we're in. It's not about NIL. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about Clemson, and it's about who we are as a program. So, if some of these places they don't get the best high school kids. So they got to do what's best for their program, and we certainly would do the same. But we haven't been in that situation yet. We'll address. We tried to get a portal OL this year. We tried, and there was really only two guys that really fit everything we were looking for, and we didn't get either one of them. That's the life of recruiting. We're not just going to take a guy to take a guy. But I definitely think that's going on at other schools as far as people taking portal kids over the high school kids. But for us, we're developmental, and we're going to continue to be that. And I think that's one of the reasons you see a lot of guys staying here, is they know that this is a developmental program. Now, if a freshman beats out a senior, then hey, it just is what it is, right? But I know this: if all your freshmen are coming in and beating out your seniors every year, well, something isn't right. I know everybody wants the signees to come in and win every job, but what about them guys that you cheered for last year? To come to Clemson. So it's a developmental game. It's a developmental program. That's how we've always won. That's how we'll continue to win. And from time to time, if there's a certain fit or need that we have to address because of, again, a gap, we'll do that. We just haven't been in that situation, thankfully, and hopefully we don't. But we'll see. Anything can happen.
Mickey, there's always been a revenue gap between the ACC and the other conferences. And just like a decade ago, just sort of stood on the table and said, I feel confident that we can still, this is sustainable because we're not comparing wallets at midfield, Little Ohio State,
Yeah.
but looking at the
Yeah.
forecasting discrepancy, like $50 million is what they're forecasting. Is that sustainable in your mind?
Yeah, I think, again, if you go back and look at, Clemson 2009, 2010, 2013 when we beat Ohio State, there was probably a pretty big gap there too. So to me, it's there's certainly business aspects, and that's what ADs and presidents and commissioners are for. But if it was all about walking out and comparing your checkbooks, we wouldn't win half the games we've won. We've won with people, and we've won with belief, and we've won with evaluation and discipline and accountability and development, and you can't put a price on those things. So, yeah, there's definitely things that are going to happen in college football that have already happened and will continue to happen as we move through the next few years. But that's stuff that the higher ups have to deal with. Again, for me, my focus is on we have everything we need here at Clemson. From a Clemson football standpoint, we're incredibly blessed, and I think we've proven we can compete with anybody. Regardless of how many alumni they got or what their checkbook looks like. So we'll all that stuff will work itself out throughout the years, just like it always has. But certainly, a valid question.
Do you think that the profile and achievements that y'all have achieved over the last decade means that whatever happens, however this thing shakes out, y'all are going to be in a good spot and in the right position you need to be?
Yeah, this is Clemson. This is Clemson, and 10 years from now, this will be Clemson. 20 years from now, this will be Clemson. Long after I'm gone from here, this is Clemson. So that I know. People are coming and have come from all over the country to come to Clemson. You know, and this is a special place. This is one of those very, very, few special places in the country that is passionate about football. So, yeah, like I said earlier, I mean, regardless of what happens in the landscape of college football, when it's all said and done, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, Clemson's going to be Clemson.
But you alluded to the center position a minute ago. In the spring game, Linthicum, I think, started at center over Putnam. Where are you exactly as you're getting ready to head into August? Where are you at the center position, and do you know exactly how many games Trotter will miss?
Linthicum started over Putnam? I don't think so. No. They probably started on two teams.
On his team, he started.
Well, that's because Putnam was on the other team. There was two teams. No.
Where are you exactly there? And Trotter, do you know how many games he missed?
I don't yet on Trotter where he's at, but Putnam is definitely our starter. No question about that. I mean, he had a great spring, did a heck of a job. Linthicum has really improved. He and Tristan Lee, those were two really good high school players, and you just people look at recruiting stuff and you think you're just supposed to just show up and it happens, and people forget, man, both of those guys didn't have high school senior seasons, so they didn't play any football, for a year, and then they show up at Clemson. Linthicum came in January. Tristan didn't get here till the summer, and man, they're way behind. And but both of them have put the work in, and man, they're just in a totally different place, from where they need to be. And we don't need them to be starters. We need them to be ready, and we need them to be able to compete and be ready to go be a starter. That's what we need from them. And I think both of those guys have really progressed in that direction. And then same thing with Trent Howard. I mean, he's a good little player, man, and he's one of those guys that, same thing, missed basically a whole year with COVID and mono and all kind of things, and then had to build himself back. He's a very functional guy as well. So Linthicum, Trent, and Putnam, all those guys can play center and guard. So we like that group right there, and then we'll see if we can add somebody in there. But yeah, there's no question on who the starter is. Putnam was a pleasant, not surprise. I shouldn't say surprise, because it was kind of an expectation with him, because that's kind of who he is. But certainly good confirmation in the spring of what we thought we'd see out of him. I mean, they've been around the game a long time. It's not their first rodeo. I mean, Thomas, both of them are Clemson guys, first of all. They're Clemson men. They played here. Thomas played for me, a captain for me. Nick was here before I got here, but, man, he's passionate about Clemson, and it's easy to sell something that you love and that you're passionate about. It's not an effort. So I think they truly believe in, the people they're with and where they are, the place. So I think it starts there. They're both great communicators. They're both, great relationship people, and both got great sense of humor and all those type of things, and they love what they do. So just great fits, for us. And Thomas, I mean, had great experience here and kind of tutoring up and getting ready and knows our program. Then went off and was able to coach a little bit, and then came back. So I think him being here, it was a smooth transition. And then Nick, same thing. Most of his time's been in the NFL, but getting a little bit of college experience. The first time Nick Eason has been on the road was, this might have been his first May recruiting ever. I think it was. Even though he's been out recruiting and stuff, but a true May recruiting, because he's not been in college football very long, and then it was COVID, so for a couple years there. So, but he's he's Nick. You spend any time with Nick, it's easy to see, just a good person, and he's genuine, and so is Thomas. They're genuine, they're authentic, and again, they love where they are and who they're with. And I think, and then they have a lot to sell at a place like Clemson, so good track records.
What has it been like working with Streeter in his new role as the OC? How has that relationship evolved since he's taken this new role?
Oh, it's been fun. I'm proud of Street. I mean, he's another guy, again, I've got a lot of confidence in. I've known for a long time. Talking about Wes earlier, I mean, Streeter was a GA. When I first came in here, he was one of our offensive grad assistants. So I got to know him starting in 2003 or 4. And then followed him all throughout his career, and he was one of those guys I always stayed in touch with, and he always stayed in touch with me. And when he was coming through, would always stop by, and loves Clemson. Streeter's had a bunch of opportunities to leave here, both NFL and coordinators at big schools, SEC schools, other ACC schools. But man, he's stayed right here, and he's been patient for his opportunity. He's been a huge part of our success since 2015. It's been fun to see him kind of move into the run the room seat, and he's done a great job with that.
Mickey said that on all 3 levels, this might be as fast as defenses he's had since he's been here. Does this compare speed-wise to some of the other groups you've had at all 3 levels?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we've got, I think this group has elite talent, and I think we've got great depth and athleticism, but I do think we're a fast group. I mean, we've got guys up front that can really run. This is probably the fastest group of linebackers that maybe we've had in a while. I mean, it's a really fast group, and then we got corners that can run. All those safeties can cover some ground. So, yeah, I mean, we'd have to line them all up and test it out to say, really compare them. But just on paper, speed and athleticism, this is certainly an elite group just in those 2 aspects. But the functionality, the football IQs, the game experience, the depth of that, I think makes this group, have a real chance to be special. I mean, they got to go do it, but on paper, this is potentially a great defense. We expect them to be a great defense.
Sticking with linebackers, if the knowledge of Skalski and Spector was here, where would you put the guys who are following in behind him? Like just the situational awareness?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys. I mean, Skalski was here this morning. I think he leaves tomorrow. He's still here. I came over here Sunday. Literally Sunday afternoon. I had come see the trainer, and I come walking in here Sunday afternoon, and here comes Nolan and Skalski walking out of the building. This was Sunday, and I'm like, y'all still here? And they're like, yeah, we don't leave till Wednesday. And they've been right here training every day. Balin just left too. They've all been here training, and I love that. Mario's been here. Mario worked the ladies clinic. Mario, Skalski, they're all at the ladies clinic on Saturday, and I just think that's really cool. And they've been here training with our strength staff and taking full advantage of the nutrition and the food and all that stuff. But yeah, they're leaving tomorrow, heading out and getting ready for camp. But we don't have anybody that's there, but they don't have to be. They just need to be them. And it's our job as coaches, to meet our players where they are, and then we get them to where they need to be. So, but I tell you, man, Trenton has worked his butt off. Navante, McGuire, these guys are going into their 4th year. They've been here 3-4 years. They have a lot of knowledge. They just don't have the same amount of playing experience as Skalski, a guy like that. But certainly from a talent, they do have a lot of knowledge. And I think as they add the experience to it, it's going to be awesome. Jeremiah Trotter, he's a natural. He's been here 1 year. So he's certainly not where Skalski is from a knowledge standpoint, but he's pretty dang good. and he's got great instincts for the game. Barrett Carter, same thing. I mean, we got a really good group. Sergio has made good progress. So collectively as a group, and I'm sure Wes probably told you that. I mean, this is a very functional group of backers that I think are going to do some special things, and I think you'll see us play a lot more people, rotationally, really in any situation, regardless of score, regardless of field position. I think you'll see, more guys in the game at that position, and I think that's a reflection of the confidence that Wes has in those guys and just their overall ability and knowledge.
Will
Take a couple more.
Taylor told us during baseball season, shortly after he came off rehab, that he was actually a step or two faster, according to his monitors. How much of a sigh of relief was it just to see him, come through healthy?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you know he would. It's just you got to go through the process. But that's just, again, a guy like Will Taylor, he's going to do everything he's got to do. That's just how he's wired. So yeah, he told me the same thing. It was good to hear. It's kind of like them Tommy John surgeries. Can you tighten it up a little bit? And give me about 3 more miles per hour on that fastball. Did he have Tommy John? Did he really? Will, I'm excited to get back on the field with Will. I got a chance to spend a lot of time with him during the bowl prep. We did a lot of one-on-one receiver stuff and study and drill stuff and really just technical things. So I can't wait to get on the field and get back to work with him.
Kind of piggybacking off this question, obviously losing a guy that's cost is huge. Is there somebody you see kind of stepping into that coach on the field role this coming season? At least to their best?
I mean, I think that's going to come. I mean, I think all those guys at backer are well experienced, but I think it's going to start with them guys up front. We got some grown men up front that have been here a long time that I think will bring that, and really at all 3 levels. I mean, Sheridan out there at corner, he's got a ton of experience. He's been around here a while. He's a veteran guy. The guys back at safety, we got a group of guys that have played good football for us. We have some great young leaders, but I think we got a core group of D linemen. There's about 7 of them that I think will set that tone and really kind of, lead the way.
What would be the ideal development for Diedrich Pennington? I guess is there a little bit of acclimation period?
Say that again?
For Diedrich Pennington, kind of the ideal development for him in camp.
Just get to work. I mean, he's ready. I mean, he's ready to go. So really just hopefully pick up beyond where he left off. I mean, that was one of our. I mean, y'all don't know this, but that was one of our big disappointments last year. I mean, this guy, I think, had a chance to be a starter for us, and was on his way. He really gets it. He's a smart kid, and he goes in 2 plays later in the second game. He's out for the year. So he's done a really good job. He's in a good spot. So I think the biggest thing is just jump in there and go do it, go compete, and go earn it. He's certainly going to have the opportunity. He looks great, but it's a big shot in the arm to get him back. And and then the experience that Marcus Tate got last year, same thing. When you see him, he looks amazing. He's in a completely different place mentally and physically. But as far as Dietrich, there's really no progression. I mean, he's full go. What kind of a head coach? He's going to be outstanding. He'll be excellent. He's incredibly well prepared. He and Brent, they're both very well prepared for the opportunities that they have, and different as far as who they are with their approach. But Tony's, I think he's going to have a long, successful career and do a great job. I think he's a great fit, for Virginia.
Coach, as we wrap up, were there any support staff changes or anything you wanted to update since April?
Oh man, we've had all kind of changes. We started our all-in meetings yesterday and had to stand up and everybody say your name and who you are and where you're from and height, weight, the whole deal. It was crazy. Probably the most transition, from just new people or new roles. We had a lot of people moving in different roles too. A guy like Wes or Streeter or whoever, Kyle, it's probably the most we've had since 11, to be honest with you. Overall, just transition and changes. But you know, we've got a few new full-time support people. We've got Dylan Barron is a new assistant trainer coming in here, and Manny Slamovitz is our new chef. He's a character, and he's coming from out in L.A. and excited to get him here. He's literally just getting it going. And got a young man named Jackson Jones who's going to work as one of our graphic designers coming in that area. Brooks Cockrell Jackson came from Auburn. Brooks Cockrell also working in our creative media area, came over from Arkansas. Excited to have him here, and I think that was the sport guys, and then C.D. Davies. C.D. Davies is I'm really excited to be able to announce him, but he's going to be our NIL coordinator, and he's a guy I've known a while. He was kind of ready for kind of kind of that next chapter, I guess, if you will, and always been a Clemson guy, but he's been a CEO of some of the biggest companies out there, and has a great business experience and aptitude, and really dealing with everything that these kids, may have to deal with. And so being able to really get him in place so that we can, meet the needs of our players, no different than hiring a chef, hiring, Alex Beana to run our science, lab, or hiring a great strength and conditioning, hiring great medical people, hiring a great quarterback coach and defensive coach, or, whatever, nutritionist, to be able to get the NIL coordinator in here that we need, just like Paul Journey, that was a critical hire for us. So I'm super excited about CD and his wife Jamie joining us, and he survived his first day of all-in meetings yesterday, so I was pretty proud of him. It was a long day, but I think he enjoyed it. I think that's we got some younger GAs in some different areas and things like that, and some new student workers, but full-time people. That's some of the changes that we've had since we probably got together.
Coach, everybody hang tight very briefly. Coach's Foundation has a couple partners for Priority One Security as well as WCCP. Y'all saw